silence. Thoughts screaming, screeching. I long of the dull and numbing wisps, and the leaves caressing the wind, or a jackhammer to drown out me, myself, and I. Found by my mind, lost in truths I've known, truths I will know. Am I mad? I beg so. Somebody was feeling cranky that day. Welcome to Season 3 of Amazingly Average, the show with advice for amazingly average authors and actors. My name is John, and I cannot wrap my mind around palm trees.
I'm glad on the East Coast we have a consensus that, like, these trees are not from this planet.
They are not from this planet, and you can't convince me otherwise. Today's tip is for the amazingly average authors out there. TLAP. Take laundry and profit. These are so perfect on eBay.
Who are you and why are you taking my underwear?
It actually stands for Think Like a Poet. I took a poetry class back in college, and I learned that poetry is not my forte. There are certain techniques I learned which are imperative for a well-written poem. Taken out of the context of poetry, they can improve your other mediums of writing as well. 1. Alliteration. Every now and then, throw in a slew of words starting with the same letter or sound. It's pleasing to the ear. 2. Surprising line turns. A line turn is when you end one line of a poem with a certain image and then juxtapose it in the very next line with something totally different. So with my poem at the beginning of this video, that would be when I compared the leaves being caressed in the wind to a jackhammer. 3. Beats. A beat is a main accent or rhythmic unit in poetry or music. In a play, that would be when there's a shift in the topic of a conversation, a shift in power, or some other sort of significant shift that would result in a pause. As far as poetry is concerned, that would be the lyrical flow of syllables. 4. Structure. We read this poem back in school about a piano, and the lines of the poem varied in length, and when you turned it sideways, it actually corresponded to where the white and the black keys are on an actual piano keyboard. You can use a literal visual element in a poem to add some sort of fun little imagery that complements the meaning of the poem. Now, how can you apply that to a short story? That's some food for thought. 5. Syllables. You know how Shakespeare wrote the dialogue of his plays in iambic pentameter? That refers to the syllable scheme. There are stressed and unstressed syllables. A foot is a pairing of one or more stressed and/or unstressed syllables. The meter refers to how many feet are in a line, so pentameter would mean 5 feet. An iamb is an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. A trochee is stressed, unstressed. Spondy is stressed, stressed. Anapest is unstressed, unstressed, stressed. Dactyl is stressed, unstressed, unstressed. And ferric is unstressed, unstressed. As far as feet go, there's mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nova. I don't know what 10 would be. I am by no means an expert in terms of poetry, but if you want to learn from the bigwigs, you can look at stuff like Langston Hughes and Robert Frost and maybe use that to inspire your poetry, or use their poetry techniques to improve your other mediums of writing. By no means should you plagiarize either of those poets. It's just a good place to find inspiration. The piano poem that we read in class actually inspired me to write a poem about a beach. And the way that I had the line lengths going was corresponding to, like, the waves of an ocean. Knock, knock. Who's there? The gift that keeps on giving. Herpes? No. A trust fund. Please, please, please leave me your questions about acting or writing in the comments below or on my Facebook or Twitter. And now it's time for...
What's in John's mug?
The Reading Rainbow. I can do anything. Reading Rainbow. I hope my neighbors are not mad because it is 12:30. If you like this video, then see how you can use the tools of poetry to enrich your other mediums of language. If not, then pawn your neighbor's underwear online. Amazingly average. I actually got to meet the inaugural poet for Barack Obama, some guy by the name of Richard Blanco, in my poetry class. Thank you, Professor Robin Becker, for making that possible. That was seriously awesome.